Hi, this is Jonathan Mark. I'm with Flyby News, flybynews.com. I wanted to explain why I and Flyby News have given an endorsement of Bart Jordan, who has claims evidence of advanced ancient civilizations. Why do we believe him? Bart Jordan came to me right before the Cassini Earth Flyby in 1999. He called me up. He received a press release called NASA Misleads the World to the Dangers of the Cassini Earth Flyby. When he called me, he wanted to make a comment, and I'm so grateful for any reaction that I received. The greatest reaction that we got in the campaign against the Cassini was from Bangladesh. The Astronomical Society in Dhaka, FR Soccer and others were with us in the campaigns to stop the Cassini Earth Flyby, or at least expose it, because it had all this plutonium on board. So Bart Jordan asked me, if he could comment on it, and I said sure. We were talking, and he kept talking about these numbers that he was able to decipher from these ancient languages, and that he was involved with all sorts of things, including giving the U.S. government the cesium number that was used in the plutonium bomb of the 1940s. And he was only 8 years old at the time. So believing him took a while, and I'm still going through it. But every evidence that he gave us has checked out. And I've been in touch with his sister and others that he was involved with the Manhattan Project people. If you watched the interview I had with him on June 25th of 2014, he showed a letter written by Dr. Ernest Lawrence. And his sister Janine asked me to read this book called Tuxedo Park. And it was all about Alfred Lee Loomis and the Manhattan Project. Of course, there's no mention of Bart Jordan, and he was another story, but there's connections there that there was involvement. And Bart Jordan became a concert classical guitarist. He performed under Andre Segovia, and he lectured at 5 different departments at the University of New Hampshire. So I had to take him seriously, since I knew he knew much more than I knew. So I would listen. I wanted to post his information. If it got discredited, I was ready to take it right down, which is what we do with all the information we post at flybynews.com. It has to stand up to scrutiny, and I encourage anyone to challenge anything that I have posted at flybynews.com. You could write me at flybynews.com @gmail.com or noflyby@yahoo.com. Bart mentioned he wrote an article in 1997 called Moons of Mars. And so I read that article, and it all claimed what he told me and what his sister told me. And then I was trying to see if there's any other reference to this. And he told me that he had it published 1966 to 1973 in the Encyclopedia Britannica. I just knew that could prove it either way. So Flyby News put the Flyby News Challenge on the Bart Jordan page. We challenge anyone to give us another explanation of how these numbers were conceived and understood. And ever since then I haven't. Just recently we did post the Encyclopedia Britannica's numbers, and in the upcoming event that I'm going to have with Bart Jordan, he'll go into more detail of those that information, along with a lot more. And so our time delay is due to a lot going on, from converting the Greek alphabet, because a lot of his information was destroyed in 2004. And he had to reassemble things, so his eyesight's really bad, so he's doing his best. Besides the information that I just mentioned, I've been on the phone with him for 15 years, and I've noticed right away a lot of consistency to his stories. And he would repeat the same story. He would almost have this photographic mind that would communicate word by word certain conversations and situations, and it would come up again and everything would be the same. So I was very much excited about this, except when are we going to be able to prove it to other scientists? And now's the time, finally. I think Bart Jordan was concerned for his life, his well-being, and figured that if he kind of kept quiet, things would be okay. But Cassini kind of alerted him, and then he reads a lot of flyby news. There's a lot more to it than either of us, can admit. But it's the time when we see such degradation to our environment and our world, and such cover-ups of science, of truth, of information that he provided NASA and was involved with the Mars Viking mission. He wants to set the record straight so science can become free of the military-industrial complex. We can move forwards. We can admit that we faked going to the moon in 1969 and 1972 and explain it as a military psychological operation at the time. But now it's time for truth to come out. So among this and many other reasons, expecting if we can continue and provide the information, scientists around the world will start admitting that this palindromic number system that came out of the Greek alphabet really do tell us about places on Mars, the Cydonia region from the 1976 Mars Viking mission. There's a lot to learn about the harmony of spheres, Phobos, Deimos, and Cydonia. and even though I can't really fathom all the intricate parts to it, I know collectively humankind is incredibly intelligent, and it's time for truth to set us free. If we can learn from the past, we can then go forwards with a greater understanding from a civilization that was way beyond where we are today, and why we need to learn the laws of nature and not go against it. Thanks for listening.